what the hell? I had my mindset going to, maybe it's not that great, maybe it's going to be a disappointment, but I still want to see it because, hey, it's Pac-Man, right? And Donkey Kong, all these game characters I love from the NES from like way back in the day. Just gotta keep an open mind to have your own opinion. Pixels, starring Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Peter Dinklage, and Josh Gad. Directed by Chris Columbus. Video game characters from the 80s arcade games coming into real life. Pretty much your typical Adam Sandler movie, but with Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and laser guns. It's a couple of nerds who pretty much run the military and give orders to the military on what they gotta do to take down all these pixel characters. Because, if you're an expert in video games from the 80s, then you should be the leader of the military, the U.S. military, I should say. And, pretty much that's the plot of the movie. There's a lot of goofs, lots of gags in this film. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a lot of fun. There's a few parts where, it's like, oh yeah, Adam Sandler jokes. I hope I'm not spoiling the movie for anyone. So if you're afraid of a spoiler, just cover your ears for a few moments or turn the video on mute. But one of my favorite parts in this movie was the dog from Duck Hunt, who makes just like a little cameo appearance in this film. Because I love that laughing dog from Duck Hunt. People keep saying this movie is stupid, it's silly, it's dumb, it's ridiculous. Of course it is. Look at the trailer. How can you go into this movie with seeing the trailer and think it's going to be a smart movie? It's not. It's dumb, but you have so much fun with it. It has so much nostalgia from the 80s. You feel like a kid again, even though I was not a kid from the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. But I had used video games handed down to me, and of course the used console NES along with that handed down to me. So I played all these games. It's almost like I relived the 80s. I even went to a video store around the corner from my house that had a lot of movies from the 80s. So during the 90s I was watching a lot of 80s movies, of course, along with movies from the 90s. A lot of parents are probably going to enjoy this movie more than their own children, because a lot of parents will get the references from this film based on all these 1980s video games, and some 80s references that have nothing to do with video games is also in this movie too. Also, the soundtrack of this movie is awesome. It's so 80s. It's such an entertaining movie. You guys will enjoy it. Just don't go so hard on the movie and take it so seriously like it's supposed to be some kind of art form, because it's not. It's an Adam Sandler film with Nintendo characters and, Atari characters too. So don't expect realism or anything like that in this movie, because you just need to sit back, don't use your brain, and just have fun with it. It does have those occasional Adam Sandler jokes that will still make you laugh, because he may not be as funny as he was in the 90s, but he's still a funny guy. I'd rather watch this movie than watch Jack and Jill or Don't Mess with His Zohan. Any of that crap. Oh my god, throw that out the window. It's good for family entertainment. That's the best I could say about this movie. So what I'm going to rate this movie? 6.5. Because seriously, come on. I'm not going to give like a 10 out of 10. Because I respect the true art form of filmmaking, but I also like being entertained. Why am I giving it that high of a rating? Well, I'm going to give it points for nostalgia, points for making me laugh, points for the fact that it's got video game characters. But of course there's no realism. There's not like a great on-screen chemistry between the cast. Tell me what you think. Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Stevie Steve, your host of Epic Entertainment Reviews. I'll see you next time. Probably should have mentioned my Nintendo shirt.